This bill, first off, what is it?
I was contacted by victims who, of course, had been exposed to an incurable disease, and the offender or the partner or the spouse, they knew this and intentionally held this information from them. And that is the purpose of me filing the bill.
What do you think about that in the first place?
We have very high rates of sexually transmitted infections in Louisiana, but this is not a consequence of people intentionally exposing others to them as much as it is a consequence of our healthcare system and the lack of access to care that many Louisianians have, and the fact that we don't have very comprehensive sexual health education programs. And so people are already not making well-informed decisions about their sexual health, or at least they aren't encouraged to in the state. And so I think actually the solution to this issue would be improving access to healthcare, as well as reducing stigma around STIs and STDs.
And what other loopholes did you see? I know it was amended late last night, and you just read it recently. But what other loopholes did you find quite alarming?
For example, let's say I was having sex with someone and they knew their status. They told me they were living with HPV, and I had no clue that I was already living with HPV. So there's a chance that I could have acquired that from a previous relationship, but because I hadn't been tested quite yet, I could assume that I had transmitted that infection from my partner. And even if my partner discloses that to me, let's say we don't have it written down or there's not a witness, it would be very difficult to prove that my partner had disclosed that to me and I had agreed and consented to that interaction. And so there's just a lot of, loopholes in this bill that are concerning.
Are the victims then monitored themselves? So now that they have the sexually transmitted disease that's incurable, are they then also being monitored as well, or is that redacted too?
Well, they're going to have to be held responsible. Now they're going to have to be accountable too. So you have an incurable disease. You're now in the same boat as the offender. If you're going to have a relationship, then of course you got to do just what you're asking me to hold them accountable. So you're in the same boat now. You got to inform because so you got to make sure your partner or whoever is aware of your situation. And I think what is happening with the victims, they ended up in a situation where now they are having to do this, which they would not have been in that predicament if they had known.